Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my whatever this is. So for today, I wanted to just recap, just give my thoughts on the teams in general and what I feel about them. I'm not the authority, but I have watched a couple of games and I do have opinions about some of these teams that are in the W, and I just want to give my thoughts. Um, yeah, so the season is one third. We are one third into the season. So we've watched quite a number of games. The clear leaders are already standing out, and the of course the people at the bottom are already standing out. But then, like I said, it's 10 games in, maybe 11, some 12. So it's anybody's game. It's still anybody's game, honestly. I think it's when you get to the two thirds of the season, like that's like around the Olympic break time. That's when you know which teams are going to like be clear contenders and who are not even going to be in the picture. But for some, it's going to be really hard to get over the hump, like a team like Indiana. All right, so let me start from the bottom to the top. All right. So like I said, I already started talking about Indiana. So like a team like Indiana, they're already 11 losses. Like, how are they going to win for them to make the playoffs? I think they have to have like, say the 32 season. So let's say they win 32 divided by 2, that's 18. So let's add a little bit like 2 more. So that's like 20. So out of a 32 team season and 32 game season, they have to win 18 games at least, maybe 20 games, let's say 20 games to at least even be in the running. I don't even think it's even that good. So let's say 20 games to be in the running. Let's give it 20 games. And they've already lost 11. So like serious, and it doesn't look like they're going to win anything. I mean, there are some teams that they're definitely not going to pass. I mean, I obviously it's WNBA, anybody can win, but you do know like it's getting harder. They haven't played some teams. They haven't played. Okay, they played Vegas, so that's good. So the teams, what team can they win to to give them? So they have to win 11 games, and they won one. So they have to win 10. What teams can they win to give them the boost they need? Obviously, I mean, they just lost to Chicago. Definitely not winning against Minnesota. Definitely. Okay, maybe Atlanta. Maybe Atlanta. Atlanta showed yesterday that they are very vulnerable, especially without Chicken and Carter. So they could. Washington Mystics, I doubt if they're going to lose to them again. LA Sparks, maybe, maybe, maybe. Phoenix Mercury, with the way they are playing now, who knows? They could. And they haven't played together. They haven't played against them. So yeah, they definitely could. Dallas Wings, I doubt it. New York Liberty, they've already played them twice. So I doubt it. Doubt it. Connecticut Sun, maybe, but I doubt it. Seattle Storm, that's very funny. So they could drop on a bad night. Who knows? But it's not looking good. It's not looking good for them. Uh, I really don't know what they can do. They are definitely not making the playoffs. I think we can be sure about that. But are they going to be like New York Liberty? That is the question. That is the question. Are they going to be like New York Liberty last year, winning just 2 games? And then now it's like even a bad thing for you to lose to Indiana Fever. Like, oh, you are so bad, you lose to Indiana Fever. Like, it's even a stigma. Now, it's like, how do you get to that stage? Anyway, I can't talk about them too much. I have other things to get to. So I really pray for them, but I think this isn't a bust. They should just cut their losses and try to move on, honestly. All right, we move to Chicago. Chicago is interesting. Of course, they had this 7 game losing streak. Because of course their starters were out. They had Stephen Dawson out, they had Adi Quigley out, and they had Candice Parker out. So that's obviously going to take a blow on your offense. I mean, those are starters, and they are starters for a reason. They make things happen. So you have to deal with like the bench players, which are no, I'm going to say bench of of the bench. So they have to deal with their bench, which are the bench is of Alzora Stevens, as to do for even not bring Dana Evans into the matter. Diamond Shield. Diamond Shield a bench. I don't think that's the starter. So yeah, so I mean they had to, like, those are second rotation players, and you can tell that they are second rotation players because they just couldn't click on any level. And because of that, they dropped 7 games. Can they make it back? Well, I mean, last year, Connecticut Sun was 1-5, was 5-0, and they made it to the playoffs. So anything can happen, and they are 4-7. So yeah, they can definitely make it back if they don't lose. But what I'm afraid of is that I don't. From what I saw of them, I don't think they're good. They're that great a team. Like, he has so many turnovers. Vandersloot makes a lot of mistakes that she shouldn't be making as a point guard. Yes, she's a good passer. She can score when she wants to score, but she just makes some erratic decisions that I don't understand sometimes. And the fact that the offense always passes through her, it's very concerning. I mean, of course, she's the point guard, but I mean, it's just too dependent on her, and she's not like the best now as a point guard. Although she still does as an assist and all, but just something off about her this season. It's really something off about her. And Ali Quigley also, she's coming back from injury, so yeah, so they can still turn it around. They can. What I'm seeing is just not encouraging. Even with Candice Parker. Then Candice Parker was supposed to be like, oh, this is exactly what Chicago needed to this is exactly what Chicago needed to be a championship contender. And from the little I've seen when they played Indiana Fever, what I expected from them, although she's come back from injury, so that makes sense. And she did put up 20 points. I expected them to give Indiana Fever at least the second game the Las Vegas treatment. I'm sorry. Put 103. Let everybody know that you guys have come to play. Let us know that yes, this is the team to beat. Let us know that you guys are not joking around. See, you have a full roster now. I wanted you. I don't want you to. You shouldn't be fighting with Indiana Fever for points and losing to them by 4. Not that Indiana Fever is a bad team. Is it okay? They are not a great team, but I mean, so that's a championship contender. Last season, Seattle Storm dropped 40 on New York Liberty. That is a championship contender. That's what I want to see in championship contenders. So you have your full roster, you have no excuse. Shouldn't be in a tight game with Indiana Fever. I'm sorry. That's not a championship team. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I expected more. I expect more. But I don't think they are going to make playoffs. All right, we move on to Minnesota Knicks. I don't have much to say about them. The sample size is really short because they of course they lost 4 in a row. They lost 4 in a row, then they lost the Mystics, then they won twice against Atlanta. So I'd like them to play for me to know what they are really made of. I think Leisha is a really good addition though. For me to know what they are really made of, I'd like them to play Connecticut Sun again. I know they won the first time. I like them play them again. Then I know that okay, yes, this is a team that even if they lose, but that showing would show exactly what they are. The same way Chicago played Indiana Fever, and I could see that this is not the team to beat. If Minnesota Leafs play Connecticut, then I will see what they are made of. Like, okay, this is a team that came to play in this league. Until then, I really don't have much to say about them because, like I said, I haven't seen them against tough competition. Then we go to Atlanta Dream. Atlanta. Atlanta. I don't know much. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Atlanta, honestly. Because on paper, they look good. But what I saw against Seattle wasn't great. it wasn't bad. The second time was not bad, but it wasn't great either. But then nobody ever thought Atlanta was a championship team. But I definitely thought they were going to make the playoffs, seeing that they had like Tiffany EAAs and Chanel Carter. But then they didn't have Chanel Carter. But I don't see what she would have done so differently than she did already. So yeah, but they do have some bright spots. Aaron McDonald is really, really coming into her own. That's nice to watch. I think they should, if they do more with her and give her some minutes and really coach her, she could really be something really special. Maybe not this season, but definitely next season, and she could definitely be a backup for Chen Carter. But another thing about Aries, she's not a playmaker, so that could be a problem in a guard. She could be shooting though. She'll be a shooting guard, but she's not a playmaker. She's more of a okay. I'll go and get my own shots. I can create my own shots. What can she create for others? And can she really run the offense, which Andy Carter does? But yeah. So Seattle beat them twice. Yes, yeah. One of them was by 24 points, and most half of those points were gotten in the first quarter, which was very, very laughable. I hate when teams just fall apart in the first quarter. It's like, you just have 10 more minutes, just 10 more minutes, get it together and finish right. But that didn't happen. But for the second game, of course, they hung around for a bit, but then the game was lost sometime in the third quarter. They lost the game because I know they just couldn't come back. So they were trading buckets with Seattle. Seattle had a 10-point lead. They weren't really pushing the gear. Even when Seattle bench took over, Atlanta didn't have a response for Seattle, and the game was just. I knew they were going to lose that game because they just didn't have the fight in them. So I think some of their players, they just don't have the right pieces around them. Although I did like Cheyenne Parker, Courtney Williams, all right, definitely didn't have a great game, but she's capable of more. I trust Stephanie A's, but Seattle really locked down on her, so she didn't really have time to perform. Anyway, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think so. I don't think so. Those are just my thoughts. I don't think so. All right, we move on from Atlanta to Washington Mystics. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched any game of Washington Mystics. I've seen highlights, but the only thing I know is that Tina Charles is having a career year, and then they have Ariel Aitkins and they have Maisha. So those are some really solid players. And Tina Charles, of course, is the MVP of that team. So they have something to work with, and they are 4-5 without their superstar. That's Deladon. I don't think Deladon is coming back to play this season. I'm sorry. And even if she comes back, I don't think she will be like 100%. So I think the Washington Mystics we are seeing now is probably the Washington Mystics we'll see in the playoffs, unless, of course, if Emma Messiman comes in. Emma Messiman is a fantastic player, excellent player. But with Deladon, Emma Messiman, and Tina Charles, definitely a championship contender. I mean, if they are playing to the best of their ability. If they are not, that's another story. But if they are playing to the best of their ability, definitely a championship contender. So I think from Washington, I would hold on to my verdict until after the Olympics. And they haven't really played any team of note. So they haven't played the Storm, they haven't played Connecticut. They played Aces, and they really gave Aces a run for their money. So that's not bad. They played New York Liberty, and they really went to town on them. So they're not bad. All right, let me see their games. I'm just talking because I haven't really watched any of their games. I'm just not emotionally invested in the team. So they played Lynx, they won. Okay, that's good. They won. They lost the Aces by 3. That is actually impressive. And it was a very high scoring because they definitely have the offense. They played the Sun. And they lost by 5. Really bad team. They're not definitely so. I mean, they played Miss Fever. That's not great. I mean, they're definitely bad team. I mean, don't sleep on Washington, especially without Deladon. Once if Deladon comes and then if Deladon and and my maximum comes, then you know that because I mean, Area 80 and Maisha really some really really good players. So, let me see the let me just say random score. Let's look at this. Let's see this win against Mystics. Let's see what Maisha dropped. 19. 17, 31. Oh wow. 11. Yeah, not to be joked with. Okay, it's not bad. Yeah, I fuck with watching this. I should watch. I definitely should watch some more of their game. Okay, yeah, I've been put on notice. They're not bad. Okay, LS Sparks. Mm, mm. LS Sparks. Yeah, LS Sparks. They've been losing to. They haven't lost. They lost to Dallas. They won against the Fever. Anybody can win against the Fever. They won against the Fever. So the only wins came against uh, the Fever and the Chicago Sky, a very, very heavily depleted Chicago Sky. Wings went to town with them twice. Aces went to town with them once. Mystics went to town with them. Yeah, and they are playing today. So, So I mean, I haven't seen much to know what they are all about. I don't think they're a playoff team also. Because I know if once they start playing like the teams that can play and they have a full okay, they don't have Chini and Nika. So yeah, so if you add them, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But I'd like to see what they're all about, honestly. I haven't made a conclusion. I don't think they're a playoff team. I think teams that are not playoffs, like I said earlier, LA, Atlanta, Chicago, and Indiana. So we move on to Phoenix. Phoenix, another very problematic team. Very yo-yo-ish. Yo-yo-ish. I think that's the right word. Yo-yo. Sometimes they are good, sometimes they are bad. Sometimes they really show up really, really well. Sometimes they just sleep on the wheel. I think without like Diana is was their but Diana was like their core. Like they depended on us for like they depend on her for so much of their offense. I think she does like 15 points every night. So now it's like who picks up the slack? Who picks up the slack on Diana Taurasi? Is it Brittany Griner? Is it Skylar Diggins? You can't expect Skylar Diggins to be scoring so much. She's a point guard. She's not supposed to, point guards aren't supposed to be scoring so much. And if you look at teams where these point guards score so much, they're always a bad team. Your point guard should not be your primary scorer. Most teams that have their point guard as their primary scorer are bad teams. I'm sorry. So that's if you look at it, it's really not that hard to win a championship with WNBA. Just have three things right. Have a point guard that can score. She's not your primary scorer, but she can score. Have a scorer that can drop at least 20 every night. That's your go-to scorer. Then have another scorer that can also drop 20 every night. So you have two people that drops 20 on a regular basis. Then you have a bench player that can drop maybe 11 or 15 every night also. That's from the bench. With that, you're good to go. That's a good team. I mean, that's a playoff contending team. Most teams are built that way. Look at Connecticut Sun. You have JJ, who is of course the go-to player that can score. Then you have Joanna Bonner. She's no JJ, but she'll definitely drop 20. Then you have Jasmine Thomas, the point guard that is not required to score, but she can definitely score when required, but she's not the primary scorer. Then you have the bench. So you have someone like Natisha Eideman that can definitely drop at least 10, 11, maybe 15 on a given night. You have that's your team. It's really not brain surgery. Really not brain surgery. Let's go to aces. For the aces, you have your go-to scorer. You have age what do you call herself? What's her name? Aja Wilson, sorry, MVP. Apologies. Eja, if you follow us, forgot her name for a bit. Aja, you have Aja Wilson, she can drop, capable of dropping 30 if she really, really wants to every night. You have this campaign, easily would drop 20, 30, even if she really shows most times she's very consistent, but if she decides to bring it, she can easily score you, give you 30 a night. Then you have your point guard, Chelsea Gray. She's not the primary scorer, but she can easily drop some points when she wants to, but she's not the primary. So you have two primary scorers, and you have the point guard. Then you have the bench, which is Kelsey Plum, you have Jackie Young, you have Quinn Williams. Those are like solid players that can drop 11, 15 in any given night. That's like the average. And you have a team, championship contender. Let's do Seattle. Of course, you have Brianna Stewart, can drop 30 if he really, really wants to. You have Joe Lloyd, capable of dropping 30, maybe 25 if she really wants to. Then you have Subert. Subert can easily drop 10, 11, maybe 15 if she really wants to, like, drop, but she's not. She's a point guard, but she's really not the go-to scorer. Your point guard cannot be your go-to scorer. Just can't. Anyway, so that's it. And then you have your bench. Seattle's bench is a bit funny, so that's why I was. So you have a Prince. Definitely can drop some points when she wants to. It's a very good sharpshooter. You have Katie Lou. I'm still not sold, but maybe when she comes to her prime. That's why I was like, Charleston might not just be a championship playoff, yes, but championship contender. I'm still on the bench on that one. You have Stephanie Talbot, but she's a starter. She can also drop. So your point guard. So back to Prince Mercury. Who do they have? You have Brittany Griner. Yes, she can drop 27 any given night. You have Skylar Diggins, which is your point guard. And like I always said, your point guard is not your primary scorer. So when they add Diana Taurasi, so you had Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins. But now you don't have Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi. It's only Brittany Griner and Skylar Diggins. Speaking of the slack, trouble. You need two solid players and a point guard. Moving on. I wish them the best without somebody has to step up. Somebody has to step up. Definitely not Kia Nurse. I mean, I like Kia, but if order, please let me see her numbers. Let me see her numbers. Sorry, I'm talking, I'm ranting, but I'm just feeling it. So if I'm feeling it, let me see her number. 59 points, terrible. So let's see, she has 10. You can't. You just can't. You can't. You need two people doing 20. So if 19, 20, 19, 20 every night, two people consistent, then you have the point guard can drop 11. Most point guards actually average 11 points from what I've seen in the league. They average 11, sometimes 15. So that's very good for Skylar. But then you now have Skylar stepping up, dropping 20, 25. And that takes away from her point guard duties. And what if when she's on the bench? So nobody's stepping up. Somebody has to, and it's supposed to be obviously if it should have been Kianos. Kianos has to step up in Brenna Stewart in Diana Taurasi's absence. That's all I can say. Moving on, Dallas Wings. I've said enough about Dallas Wings. They are very, very good. So they are 5-5. That's good. I think they are a good team. Do they fit into my 3-player? All right, so they have Mara Jefferson. She can score when she wants to, but Tyasha Harris is better. But both of them good point guards. They don't really expect production from them. They can drop 11 on any given night. Then you have Marina Mabry and Ariki. Come on, you've got a championship team, a contender. Now, how good are your supporting cast and your 2 players now? That is where the problem is. So just because you have 2 people that can drop 20 doesn't mean you're automatically a champion, but you're definitely the playoff contender. So it's now how good are those supporting cast now? That's where the story is, and how better are they than these other supporting cast. All right. All right. So we move to New York. So Dallas Wings, they are moving up, taking some wins as they go. I like to see them against Connecticut Sun. I think Connecticut Sun and Las Vegas Aces are like, if you can hang with them. I mean, they showed that they could hang with Seattle, but like I said, Seattle is not the team to beat this year, unfortunately. Um, Seattle is not the team to beat this year. Sorry. Seattle is not the team to beat this year. Connecticut Sun is the team to beat this year, and Las Vegas Aces. So if they can hang with those two, maybe even beat an Aces, yeah, we cannot start talking. We cannot start talking about them. So for now, I'd like to see them how they can hang with them. Then we can talk. But they have some good pieces. Arike, Marina Mabry. I just need uh Tatu and Tatu and they have one other superstar. Wait, Arike, Tatu, and Marina. I think I have another superstar I'm forgetting. Anyway, all right. Anyway, Dallas is not batting. They're definitely going to get better. I like to see them play. Like I said, those two teams, and then we can now start talking about them. So, like 2 thoughts into the season, like immediately after the Olympic break, I think I'll do another recap of the team. New York Liberty, they fit the test. So they have for the 3 player test. So they have their core players. They have Sabrina. Sabrina used to be able to drop 20, but lately she hasn't. So that's a problem. And then, like I always say, your point guard is not your primary scorer. So they have they have Sabrina, they have Benija Laney. But who else do they have that is capable of dropping 20 any given night? And then do they have a bench player that can drop at least 15? I don't think so. Like I said, you can't, your point guard is not your primary scorer. And I think they built the team around Sabrina being your primary scorer, and that's always going to be a problem. So I'd like them to fix whatever it is that, okay, maybe if Natasha Howard comes in, so is definitely capable of dropping 20. So that could make things easy for them. So let me wait till Natasha comes in and really plays and has a very strong role in the team. Then we can start talking. Las Vegas Aces, I don't really like them. I'm not a fan. I don't know why. It just rubbed me off the wrong way. But I can't deny that they're a very good team. So I believe they will be in the playoffs definitely, and they might just be in the semifinals. But I see them losing in the semifinals. I don't know why I see that because they definitely have all the pieces to win. They are hungry. They want it so bad, seeing as they were in the championship last game and they didn't win. So it's like they've tasted it and they want it so bad. And they can definitely get it. But I feel the Connecticut Sun, this is their year. If they don't get it this year, then they should just forget it. I believe they are just on the collision course to win. And I believe they will. They will win. So, but definitely the Aces are a team to beat. We have Aja Wilson and Liz Cambage. There's a bit of friction going on there, but they will probably sort it out. I think they alternate. So one night Liz will be the star, the other night Aja will be the star. So they keep alternating. But either way, you can't out having two superstars on your team. So good for them. I've not really watched any of that games. The only one game I watched was the two against Seattle. And they're a good team. I don't much say about them. Uh, yeah, 7-3. So not a bad record. So we have Connecticut Sun. I'm already getting tired. We have Connecticut Sun. I mean, I've already spoken about them throughout this whole thing. Definitely championship contenders. I am really excited about their game with Seattle on Friday, on tomorrow. Very, very excited. It's going to be a great game. Even though John Jones is not there, I feel they do have some pieces to really take Seattle Storm to the test, and I want to see how Seattle responds. I believe Seattle will win that game, but like I said, Seattle is a very funny team. When you think they win, they won't. When you think they won't win, they win. So Seattle is weird. Even though they are my favorite team, they are very weird team. So I would leave it. I'll leave it at that. All right. So that's my recap. Let me just hot take for the end of the season. I would say I'm going to put the team that will make the playoffs. Like I said, Indiana, Chicago, Atlanta, and LA Sparks. So Dallas would make it to the second round, but they will be kicked out in the second round. People that will make it to the semifinals, I see a Seattle Storm making it to the semifinals. They might not get double bye, but they will get there one way or another. They'll get to the semifinals and they'll be knocked out by either of these two, Connecticut Sun or Las Vegas Aces. One of them is going to knock Seattle out. So we're going to get a finals of Connecticut Sun and Las Vegas Aces. And I really, really want Connecticut to win. Please let them win. I really want them to win. Las Vegas is a young team. They'll figure it out. The Connecticut Sun, this is the only chance. Joshua Jones is not getting any younger. Toronto has been in the league forever. Jasmine Thomas has been in the league forever. They deserve a championship, and this is their year. I really, really hope they win. I really want them to win, even though they're, like I said, they're not my favorite team. But I like what they put together this year. I like their energy. I even like their social media page is so funny. I wouldn't mind them winning, and I'm rooting for them to win. And if they don't win, then Seattle can take it. I don't want Las Vegas. This is win. I don't know. I don't know. Like it happens. All right. So that's my thoughts. All right. Yeah. So I would try and do more games if I can. And yeah. So have a good day. And I'll try and do, since the Seattle Storm game is at a respectable hour, I would watch it and recap it after. Thank you so much for listening, if you listen to the end, and have a good day ahead, and see you soon. Thank you.